this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Om Klim Kalike Namaha. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps to support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. So this is how you can contact the rishis, the sages, also known as the Anunnaki, the ones who seeded this planet. There was a very famous lady, Maria Orsic, who was able to contact them. She was actually used by Hitler because she was a psychic medium, and there was a whole group of them, the Vril Society of women psychics, who were able to contact. I have a whole video about Hitler and space travel. This is actually how I suspect that he was able to gain the information of space travel, because the sages, the rishis, the Anunnaki, were the ones who actually channeled the information from God and wrote it down on how to assemble these types of crafts. But she also got so much more information about life from them as well. The nakshatra that corresponds with them is Kritika nakshatra. Kritika is where my moon and my Rahu are located. So this is my connection with them. They have contacted me first time in meditation when I was in my early 20s. So this has been a very long time that I've been in communication with them. This is something that anybody can do with the right technique. For me, it happened in meditation out of nowhere, just because I was able to black out. Because I would meditate for, and I still do, for 2 hours straight, then I black out and then I get information from different deities, a whole bunch of different people. So this is how I'm able to gain information for myself and others. This is something that anyone could do. So like I said, clear mind meditation is how I did it the first time. Clearing your mind and just going in meditation. When you practice this, eventually you're going to black out. And it will take you roughly over 40 minutes, 45 minutes to do this. When you black out, then you go into higher realms with practice, and you are able to speak to whoever you wish. Sometimes you can't control who speaks to you, but they're always going to be there to help you. Now, that is not something that everybody can do, and I understand that. So this is not the solution. I will give you a solution that everyone can do. So later on, I realized from practicing Tantra how you can actually contact any deity. So this technique is going to work for all, not just the sages, but any deity that you wish or you desire to speak with. Now, there is a process in Tantra called homas, and also in the Vedic tradition, which is a fire ritual. So we do a fire ritual, and I'm going to post the link below. I believe it's vedicastrologer.com or org. There is a whole list of different homas that you can do, and you can click on it, and then once you click on it, it will show you exactly how to do that. Now, it says to use like a container as a fire pit. You can actually use a candle, and I use a candle all the time. This works 100%. It is actually better to get a candle that is square than round, because square, it still works with a round candle, but you're actually supposed to use square because the round represents the earth and the square is anything outside of earth for D. So I'm not going to explain to you how to do the ritual, because the ritual is very straightforward, and there's also a video on there and he explains how to do it. So I'm just going to explain to you what happens there, because the homas do not explain how you can talk to them. This is just something that I figured out on my own. You may have to practice this. If you have past life experience with this, it will work right away like it had for me. And you're also going to want to do these homas, because if you're worshiping a certain deity, to do the homa to it will activate it as well. After you've performed the part of the homa where you're putting ghee into a candle. And ghee is a type of butter that comes from a cow. So after we do that, at the end, we do mantras. So once you start doing the mantra, it is very important that you get yourself into a mind state that's almost a meditative mind state when you do mantras. You don't do mantras super fast or anything like that. You do it very slow, so you get into this deep meditation as you're doing it. and this will take a lot of practice. But once you get there and you start doing it and you're in this deep meditation without your thoughts, so it's going to take a practice if some of you think too much. You have to let that go and maybe practice some meditation so that you don't think, because you need to clear your mind. And once you clear your mind, it's like you're knocking on the door. You're doing this mantra over and over. You're knocking on the door, and eventually someone is going to answer you. The mantra is the deity, is the sages, it is the rishis, it is the Anunnaki. And you don't even have to pronounce it 100% correct. Your will can override that. Yes, look it up and make sure you pronounce it correctly. But if you have mistakes, don't feel so hard on yourself, or it's harder to pronounce Sanskrit, understandably, but your will can override that. So just be really concentrated on what you're doing, and they will come. So one way that they will come is that they will project through your third eye. So they will project themselves through your third eye. So you will see them visually. They will come, but you will know that it's a projection. It won't be as real as me and you talking, but it'll be very real as a projection in front of you. And if it's your time, they will ask you what you want. At first, you might say the wrong thing. At first, you may say something out of ego. Now, they're not here to help your ego. So if you're doing this and you're contacting them, you're here to ask higher level questions about your life, to help yourself and humanity, not just yourself. They love if you ask them questions to help humanity. How can you help humanity is the most godly thing that you can ask. And actually be sincere about it. Don't ask them how I can make $1 million and all of that, because they're not going to answer you. And they probably won't come back, or they probably know that you're going to say that and they won't even show up. So they can come through there. There's another way. If you say the mantra over and over, it's almost like hypnotizing yourself, getting into this hypnotic state. Then you will start getting downloads in your brain where it starts telling you things that you need to know. And then you'll be able to have a conversation back and forth. I know this sounds a little bit out there for some, but this is actually how spirituality works. So a lot of people are not taught this, and I understand that a lot of people won't believe this either, and that's understandable. I get it, because you have been taught that this isn't real your whole life, and so maybe this isn't for you. This is for the seeker that knows in their heart what is real and has studied Hinduism a slight bit and understands spiritual side of life. Maybe not even Hinduism, but you understand the spiritual side of life. So you do this and you'll be able to have that one-on-one conversation with them. Now, when you start opening up the door to speak with them, they are going to guide you. And if you're asking them to guide you, so this is a way to do it if you don't have a guru. They can be your guru and guide you. But if you're on that path, you have to stay on the righteous path. You have to really understand Dharma, because you have to stay on the righteous path for humanity. Because if you don't, they will come down on you and they won't help you. You want to do this with a pure heart and it will work. Same with every deity if you do a homa to the deities. I'm telling you this because I haven't seen anyone talk about this before. People talk about homas, but they don't talk about how you can go further and actually speak to the deity one-on-one. So the other deities will do the same thing. They'll project themselves through. Or when you close your eyes, you'll see the deity and then you can start talking to them. Now, when you do the homa correctly, you should feel the energy within your body. It's going to feel sometimes like when the chakras are opening, is because it's raising your kundalini. So the chakras are opening and it's going to feel like bliss, huge bliss. Then it's going to feel like heat, a lot of heat. And then when it goes up, because I'm what they call a vipra, and that is a shaker, someone who shakes. So when the deity enters me, which is another thing that can happen, they can enter you and move your body in certain directions. And when they're moving your body, they're clearing your energy. And then you can get messages later. You can get messages in your sleep as well. What happens to me is I shake, and I'm not going to do it because I'm like, oh, my stuff's going to fall, my hair's going to fall. But I shake like very, very fast. Very, very fast, my entire body, because the energy shoots from the bottom chakra all the way to the top, and it's going to shake your head. Some of you will have the same power I have to do that and start to shake. Don't be scared. This is a good sign. It's clearing out your body, but it also means that they're there. This is how I know when they're there. I start shaking, and then I can ask questions, and it can shake my body for the response. And it's not you doing it, it's the kundalini. So going into all the naughty system. This is how you can speak to them directly, any DT, anytime. And the more you practice this, the easier it'll become, like you and I having a conversation. And then they show up in your dreams and start telling you. And then also, then you should start doing meditation, because then they'll show up in your meditation and start telling you. When I was in my early 20s, I got initiated by them in my meditation. And you can actually get initiated by beings in your dreams as well. But you have to be very cautious, because sometimes it can be a different entity and not who you thought it was. That's a whole other thing. But yes, so that is how you can contact the Anunnaki and the sages, the rishis. So that's just a little bit about that. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.